Hey guys, ILene Vick here with Adult Coloring with ILene Vick, and today I'm continuing with the coloring of the Johanna Bosford fish with the picture over the picture. And so let me pull out, and today I'm going to be working on the shell. So we've done the other pieces so far. We did the octopus. Let me back up here. We did the octopus. We've got the other images drawn in. That's what I meant by working on the other pieces, because I'll color those in too, just to show you. And then at some point in time, let me move my lamp so we can get that glare off. And at some point in time, then of course we'll be doing the rocks for you, or I'll be doing the rocks for you and show you how to do that and do the background. I wanted to thank everybody for all the great comments I've been getting on this series, and I also want to remind you, is just because I'm doing it on this one particular piece, you can still use the same technique on other coloring books and other images. You just gotta, use your judgment as to whether it would be a good thing to do. Alright, so let me get rid of this top sheet there, because that's my finished piece. Forgive me the moving around of the camera. Alright, so we got the octopus done. And let me shift my light around just a little bit here. Make a couple changes. Thank you so much for all your comments about how you've been able to do that octopus and get a good job with that. And the last time that I talked to you in the video, we talked about outlining it with a very dark color, which really made it pop. And you guys seem to be really happy with that, so cool beans. Alright, so now I'm going to concentrate on the shell, which is in the upper left-hand corner of my particular piece. And let me zoom in on that. There we go. Alright. Let me show you the pencils I'm going to be using. Okay, I'm going to be using the Polychromos Faber-Castell, and this one happens to be number 124, and it is the Rose Carmine. It's one of my favorite colors, actually. It's a beautiful, beautiful color. The next one I'm going to be using is also Faber-Castell, and that number is 226, and it is the crimson color. And the third pencil color I'm going to be using, this happens to be the Derwent Color Soft, but you can find a comparable one, I'm sure, in Faber-Castell, and this is the soft pink number C170. Alright, so let's start this out here. Get my tissue, and I'm going to swing you around just a little bit here. There we go. Alright, so the first thing we're going to use is the medium pink, and let me zip these back in front of you again. I've got a light, a medium, and a dark. So I'm going to be using the medium and the dark for the main part of the shell, and then the light color, which obviously needs sharpening, for the inside of the shell. So I'm going to start with my number 124, the Rose Carmine, and there's a technique with pencils where, and some people will do this as challenges, where you're using one or two pencils and you have to use various weights of the color, various shades of the color. And so that's what I'm going to be doing here, is we're going to be using different shades of this color. So let me bring back the finished piece for a minute. That's what we're going to end up with. Okay, that's what we're working on. Alright, so what you want to do is take your number 124 and very, very lightly, because your lightest color is going to be right here at the bottom, darker at the top. But what I want you to do is color in the whole outside of the shell with the same weight of pencil, meaning very light. Okay? Do not press harder as you get to the top. We will do that later. Remember that you want to work in little circles. Okay? And again, let the pencil do the work. Because remember I told you, if you just stop and color over the same spot over and over again, your color is going to get darker. So that's why you've got to also be careful when you're coloring in lightly that you don't stick on one spot for too long. I'm probably pressing maybe about a 1 on a scale from 1 to 10. Oh, I love this color. And see, you can start to see how that's starting to look. Let me swing this little guy around. Again, I'm working in little circles. Now, I also told you about turning the pencil while you're coloring. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. Don't worry about it. The main thing is that as long as you turn your pencil when you pick it up, so that way you maintain your point. You don't have to keep sharpening your pencils, which can get very expensive. I buy my Faber-Castells at Dick Blick, and I want to say, oh gosh, how much are they? I think $1.50 each. Alright, let me get on here. I think I got out of camera range a little bit. Sorry about that. Again, very, very light. And remember, if you get too dark, remember I told you can fix that with your blender pencil. And yes, I am going to blend this because when you work lightly, you tend to get those little white speckles. And again, that can depend on paper quality. Faber-Castells are oil-based pencils. They're not water-based like the other ones are. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Da, 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 da. Oop, made a whoopsie. Alright. Get that out of there very lightly. Don't scrub with your eraser. Just get out the mistake. And then when you erase, of course, don't push it with your hand. Push it with your brush. Alright, and let me adjust my light a little bit so I don't keep working in my shadow. Yeah, there you go. And this little guy will go relatively quickly because we're just doing some basic shading here. Okay, so I'm colored in all the way around. Make sure you're as uniform as possible. Again, be careful about going over previous spots because you want your color to be as uniform as you can. By the way, I'm going to be doing a video about all the coloring books that I have, because one of the things that I also do and also offer for people, because I can't keep buying everything that people want me to color. If you want me to color in a certain book, then you're welcome to purchase it and send it to me. Now, I can't guarantee that I'm going to color in it, but of course I'll do everything I can to do that. But I'm going to show you the coloring books that I have, and then you can decide what you want to do from that point. Okay. So, I've got my overall pink done. You can see how it looks a little bit ragged, right? Because we've colored very lightly, and sometimes the color doesn't go down uniformly. Alright, so I'm going to clean off my blender pencil. I actually went to a new one today. So, Prismacolor Primero Colorless, it's called. PC 1077. So, I love it. Alright. And again, as I've told you before, you can sharpen these so you can get into real little narrow places that you need to blend. They're wonderful. Okay, so let's blend this. I'm not blending hard, but hard enough to smooth out the color, and you can see the difference now. Look at the difference here and right here. I've shown you this before when we did the octopus. But also please keep in mind that I don't know if people are looking at my previous videos, so that's why sometimes I get a little repetitive about this stuff. Alright, so I'm blending in circles. My hand is on the paper towel so that it glides along with my blender pencil. I'm pressing about probably 2 maybe, 2 to a 3. Okay. And yes, I've gone outside the line a little bit, and I'm going to have to clean that up with my eraser. Alright, so we've got this nice and smooth, right? This reminds me, you know what this reminds me of? What movie does this little curly thing remind you of? Think about it. It's a very famous movie. It usually plays, well, when I was young, it used to play once a year, and it was a really big event. Now you see it more times. And I'm going to give you a hint. If this were yellow, hint, 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 what would that remind you of? Yeah, the Wizard of Oz and the Yellow Brick Road. Remember she followed from the very center and went out and went out and went out, and then went, okay. Yeah. Okay, look how smooth that looks. Let me get that one area here. Let's get this. Yeah. Again, don't press hard. Okay, so when I was doing this, I got a little bit to the outside, so I'm using my little eraser here. And again, remember, when I'm doing all my videos, I'm not just simply coloring pages that are out of coloring books. I like to add stuff, and that's my whole thing. There are other people that will show you how to color, you know, pages as they are. Look up their videos. They're wonderful people. Peta Hewitt, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, is one of them. P-E-T-A-H-E-W-I-T-T, I believe. Wonderful, wonderful videos. Okay. So, I'm still using the same pencil. That little guy's not going to focus, is it? I hate that when that does it. I'm so sorry. 124. Okay, haven't gone to my darker one yet. Alright, so, referencing the done piece, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 124 and I'm going to be using it a little darker up near the outside. Okay, so that's going to start giving us the three-dimensional effect. Alright, here's the very light part, which I'm not going to touch again. This is the darker. And then I'm going to use my darkest pencil to do the outline to give that three-dimensional. So, let's start on that. And remember I told you, the longer you stay in one place, the darker your piece is going to get. Now, when you're coloring to the inside edge, which is lighter, you've got to lighten up a little bit. Okay? Because you don't want to darken your inside edge. You want to keep that darker. And take your time. So as I color from top to bottom, I'm lightening my pencil, and I'm really not going over this bottom too much because I'm satisfied with the color that I've got there. Okay. So a little heavier at the top, probably a 4 or a 5. And then as I get down to the middle, probably 2 or a 3. And I'm not going to touch that inside. And take your time. See how that's getting to be a nice shade there? All right. And if you're having a hard time lightening your pencil as you go along, and I know I went outside the boundary there, here's a little practice for you that some other colors recommend, is get a piece of paper and take your pencil and start dark, okay, just scrap paper, start dark, right, and then just start to lighten up your pencil, and lighten up, and lighten up, and lighten up, okay, and then get really light. Okay, see how I'm doing that? Just practice. Go from dark to a medium, right, to a very, very light. You can do it. See? That's a little tip for you. Alright, so let's get this. And I'm not really worrying about sharpening my pencil, I'm just rotating it. And I'm actually coloring really on the side than more the point. Because I want that broad area to start to come through. Isn't that gorgeous? Gorgeous! I love this color, I told you that. And notice I'm staying away from the inside because I was happy with that. And don't forget to lighten your pressure as you get towards the center of this little guy. And again, if I'm going a little fast for you, that's fine. Take your time. Because again, I've done this. And I've done this before, and I've done this particular piece before. Oop, went over my line, got to erase. That happens every once in a while. And notice how I keep going back to my previous coloring just to kind of work it and work it and work it. And I'm doing little circles as I can. Oop, streak. Okay. I'll fix that with my blender. And one thing I want you to remember too is animals in nature are not necessarily perfectly colored and have perfect lines down. Now if you want perfect lines and perfect gradations, fine. That's cool too. Alright, so now I'm getting to the center of my shell, and I'm going to go ahead and color that whole thing in. Ah, boy, that went out. Okay, now I'm going to go on the outside. I don't know why I'm having problems staying in lines today. You know, and sometimes that happens. It just depends. You know, if you're kind of agitated about something, I'm not. Just sometimes you just have the jitters and you can't color. Okay, look how beautiful that is. Alright, there's the original. There's the one I just did. So, let me fix where I went out of bounds. It is fixable. Now, is it better to not have to erase the paper? Of course, because you agitate the surface. So, you know, if you can, it's better to not have to make the corrections. But again, for some reason, I'm making a number of them errors. Okay, get my brush, and then if I have to go back and recolor where on the inside here, and I am gonna sharpen, so sorry for the grinding noise. Alright, so I'm gonna fix that edge because I erased. Take my time. I'm gonna fix that edge where I erased. Take my time because I don't want to have to erase it again. I've done that though, you know. I've erased an area where I went outside of a line and then went to fix it and I went outside of the line again. Oh well. Okay. Take your time. Oh, I love how this is turning out. There's a little oopsie that I missed. Oh, I think I actually got that erased without messing with the color. All right, good. That's cool. I'm going to hit it anyway. All right, so take a look at that. Now, I'm going to take my blender pencil. Okay. Now, I know I just blended this color. It's the same color pencil, but you know what? I still want you to get into the habit of cleaning off your pencil. So yes, I'm cleaning off the same color, but just do it anyway, trust me. In the long run, it makes a difference. Okay, so now I am using my blender pencil and I'm going over the intersection between the dark and the light. The dark's on the very outside, right? Then I'm getting lighter and lighter towards the middle, and then real light towards the inside. So I'm just blending now this area in the center carefully. Wait probably 1 to 2, where the two colors are coming together, so that I'm blending from the darkest on the outside to the middle to give you that beautiful gradation. Good grief, I'm at 25 minutes already. Oh well. And if you can't watch the whole, if you can't watch the whole video, you know, just stop it in the middle and pick it up when you can. Okay, so anyway, I'm working down the middle, working on the outside a little bit just to smooth that out. See how nice that transformation, that gradation is from the dark to the light? Yeah. And the gradation is getting narrower and narrower because I'm getting down to the center of our little guy. There we go. I gotta hit that with this. Got a little bald spot right there from erasing. Yeah. And now it's getting really important that you remember to keep your hand on your paper towel, which is, you know, sometimes I forget, which again is hysterical because I'm the one that's teaching you that. But hey, because we're blending pencils and you don't really want to get it to the point where you're continuing to smear it. Okay, look how beautiful that looks. So now I'm going to take my Crimson Red, which is my number 226 that I said earlier. I hate that when I can't get an immediate focus. I'm so sorry. 226, okay? And you want to make sure that you have a nice sharp point. So I'm going to go ahead and, you remember my little KUM sharpener? Let me pull out here so you can see this. Love, love, love it. You don't need to turn it much to get that sharp point. Again, I'm using my cup with the lid. My cats aren't around, so I'm going to leave the lid off. Famous last words. Alright, so now, let me zoom back in here. I'm going to take my Crimson Red, and I'm going to go around the very top. Okay, and I'm just going to come in just a teeny tiny bit. Use your judgment. But look on camera how now I'm getting a really neat 3D effect. There we go. Cool beans. There we go. Let me show you the original again. See how I've done that? Oop. Let me fix that. But it gives a beautiful, beautiful spiral and 3D effect. Now I'm on the inside of the shell. I'll be doing something on the outside of the shell later. I broke my point. It's alright. If your point's still sharp enough, go ahead and continue. If not, resharpen. Got outside a little bit. I'm going to hit that now. Alright. So now I'm going to continue with my darkest red. I'm pressing 4 or 5. Again, not too hard, well, except that I broke my point. And if you want to get with a darker red, just go back and forth over the same area. Yeah, see? Oh, that's beautiful. Got on the outside a little bit, which makes for a ragged edge, which is exactly what we don't want. Clean that up. I'm erasing on the outside, not the inside. I'm going to sharpen again. Okay, see? Nice sharp point. And on Faber-Castells, if you break your lead, you're pressing too hard. Because Faber-Castell are a little bit more durable than the Derwents are. Take your time. Continue to go over your same color if you want it a little bit darker, a little more depth. See, and I'm just going to go right around again. Keep your hand on your paper towel. Okay. So let me go back in where I stopped in the center, and you can see the difference. See, you can tell that I stopped right there because I don't have that depth here or to the very center. Okay, look how cool that looks. All right, continuing on. And as I go towards the inside, I'm lightening up a little bit. Now, as far as the width of this last color, I'm going to leave that up to you. If you want to make it a little bit wider, you can. I'm going to do that up here. Oop, let me get to the top again. And what I'm going to be doing now is taking my darkest pencil, which is my Crimson Rose. Okay. Let me get back up to that there. And that's my 225. And just for giggles and laughs and just to have a little fun with this, I'm going to go ahead and color along the edge here and bring it out a little bit. And as I do that, you're going to start to see a gradation from the top of the dark to the lightest. And again, as I'm going down, I'm lightening up between the very top. I'm lightening the pressure on my pencil. As I go from top to bottom. I'm probably pressing, I don't know, 4, 5. And then as I start to move down, it goes to a 2 or a 3, and then a 2, and then a 1. But right now, all I'm doing is I'm concentrating on the very top now, just to add a little more depth. And notice how much neater that looks now. And by neater, I mean 3-dimensional. And I'm just going to do that all the way around. Again, nice and dark at the very top. The whole key to this is making sure that your transition from top to bottom is smooth. In other words, you don't want to see stripes of color. There shouldn't be any stripes here of it going from one color to another. The really neat thing that I love about this is just watching it take form. It is so pretty. And that's the other thing that I really want to impress upon you, that as I'm doing this shell, I'm not thinking about the rest of this piece at all. You should act as though this shell is your whole drawing. In other words, you concentrate all your efforts on it, all your talents, all your skill. Just don't throw color on it and move on, because that's not the point of adult coloring. You want to make each piece unique and beautiful. Look how beautiful now that looks, that I've got that gradation going on. And that bell you hear is my dog. Sorry about that. I love watching this stuff start to pop. And if you do your gradation correctly from, well, now it's from bottom to top here. Well, okay, top to bottom. You really shouldn't have to use your blender pencil. But if you have to, that's fine. Trust me, as you get better at this, you'll just get to the point where you can do this without having to depend on your blender pencil to take care of the transitions. But if you're still at the point where you have to use your blender pencil, that's fine. It's okay. Don't kick yourself just because I don't have to use a blender pencil and you do. Believe me, there was a time I had to use a blender pencil. And I still do sometimes. Just depends. And that would be Vicky saying hello. And by the way, I want to thank you for all the people that have been commenting and sending me emails that you don't feel like watching my videos or like watching paint dry, that you really appreciate the fact that I go through the steps in real time. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Just like when I did the floorboards on the mermaid, I showed you the first half of it and then broke the video or stopped the video and finished it and then started up again. So yeah, there are some things, I'm not going to go through the whole thing for. But like this shell, I want you to see the whole thing because this is the total effect on this shell. And it's a relatively small piece, and my brush went somewhere. There we go. Okay. So, let's see where I was. Finish that. Besides, it gives me time to talk to you guys, and several of you have written about your rescue cats and dogs, which just warms the cockles of my heart. I love my pets. Okay, now this very center, I'm going to go ahead and color that in completely. If you don't want to, that's fine. If you still want to stay to the outside, it's your drawing. Okay. Oh, I'm real happy with that. I love it. Okay, so let me brush. Alright, so now we're going to do the inside. And I'm going to use my, oh come on, it's so funny, my Derwent Soft Pink C170. You're going to hear my eraser a minute, or my, sharpener a minute. Okay, now, the end of the shell kind of angles like this, kind of at an angle. So what I'm going to do is just kind of continue that line and then start coloring. Oh, that's pretty. Derwents are very soft. I'll probably break the tip of this pencil before I'm done. They are wax-based instead of oil-based, which is what the Faber-Castells are. But look at that beautiful pink now inside of this shell. Beautiful. And excuse me that brief interruption on my recording, but I wasn't able to go to church this morning because it's Sunday now as I continue with this video. And several church members have called me and been wanting to know why and make sure I'm okay, which I appreciate. So, moving on now, I'm using this light pink. And I'm going to go ahead and continue around the inside of the shell. And see, I'm just using, again, you know, let the pencil do the work. If I go through this once with this pencil, it makes a real light pink, but I'm deciding that I just want it just a little bit darker. So I'm just gently going over my areas. A couple of times. And you can see how beautiful that pink is looking, the very light pink. And remember, don't forget the whole point of this thing is that we want these fish to show through. So you can see how the fish is showing through here, even through the gradations of the color. Doesn't that look beautiful? And again, pick up your pencil. Oh, I know what I was saying earlier before the phone call came in. My concern was I didn't want you to think that these videos were like paint watching, you know, dry. And many of you are writing in and telling me that you really appreciate the fact that I'm not speeding up my videos and that I'm showing you the full context of this. So you're welcome, because yeah, not many artists do that, but I do it because my main goal is to teach you this. All right. Let me brush that off. I'm going to tilt this up just a little bit so you can see how that looks in its full colors. Let me pull out just a tad. Yeah, isn't that gorgeous? I hope you like it. Okay guys, so I've got the inside of the shell done. You can see the very light pink. You can see the color difference between this and the paper. And then of course you can see now how I've got the pink radiating from darker to lighter, which is giving a really nice 3D effect. So I hope you enjoyed the color along with me. And I'm going to pull out now so that you can see everything. So we've got the octopus done, the shell, we've got the coral to go, the starfish, the plant, and the anchor. So that's it. God bless you all. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Happy adult coloring. Bye.